My parents made me homeless to let my golden brother move in, so I bought a house nearby and blocked them when they came begging for help. I'm a 26-year-old guy, and I've always known I was the backup child, not the golden boy, not the favorite, just there, existing somewhere in the background of every family photo, every holiday, every memory that seemed to orbit around my older brother, Liam. Liam was the sun. I was the shadow. Growing up, I can't remember a single birthday that wasn't somehow hijacked. When I turned 10, my parents forgot to pick up the cake because Liam had a soccer game. When I graduated college with honors, they texted me, "Congrats. Sorry we couldn't make it. Liam needed the car." He didn't even have a job. He just wanted to go to a party, but I never said anything. Not really. I thought if I kept my head down, worked hard, and stayed kind, they'd see me, eventually. So I did what I could. I stayed home to help with bills, paid rent, fixed stuff around the house without being asked. Meanwhile, Liam waltzed in and out of jobs, relationships, and rehab, and still got told he was just going through a phase. They called me the responsible one. But they never called just to talk. Last week I got a call from my mom out of nowhere. Her voice was sweet, too sweet. "Hey honey, we need to talk. Can you come by after work?" Something in her tone made my stomach twist. I hung up and just sat there, staring at the wall of my tiny basement bedroom, the one I'd been renting from them for the past year. I paid on time. I cleaned. I respected their space. And yet, something told me whatever this was, it wasn't going to be good. That night, I drove home, heart pounding, not knowing I was walking straight into a conversation that would change everything. When I got there, my dad was in his recliner, watching TV like nothing was going on. My mum sat at the kitchen table, tapping her nails on a coffee mug. No hugs, no smiles, just that weird, tight-lipped expression she wore when she was about to say something she knew would hurt. I didn't even get my jacket off before she started. "We've decided it's time for you to move out," she said, just like that. No build-up. No warning. I blinked. "What?" Dad didn't even mute the TV. Mom sipped her coffee. "Liam's moving back in. He's had a rough time with the divorce and everything. He needs the space," I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because I genuinely thought she was joking. "You're kicking me out so Liam can move into my room?" Mom rolled her eyes. "It's not your room. It's our house. You've had a good run here, but he's family too. He needs support, and I don't." She didn't answer. I looked at my dad. He just shrugged, eyes still glued to the game. I felt something crack in my chest. Not anger yet, just disbelief. I'd been paying them rent, covering groceries, fixing leaky pipes and mowing the lawn. I kept this place running while Liam was off screwing his secretary and blowing his savings. "How long do I have?" I asked, my voice cold. Mom glanced at the calendar. 2 weeks should be enough, right? No apology. No help offered. Just an expiration date. I walked out without another word, got in my car and drove. No destination, just away. That night, I slept in my car in a grocery store parking lot because I couldn't bear going back to a place that suddenly felt like a stranger's house, and that's when the anger started to boil. Didn't stay in the car long. The next morning, I messaged a few friends and found a room in a shared rental across town. It wasn't much, just a mattress on the floor, peeling paint, and a bathroom I had to share with 2 strangers. But it was something. Somewhere I could shut the door and be alone with my thoughts. And the knot in my chest. 2 days before I had to be out, I returned to my parents' house to grab the last of my stuff. No one came out to greet me. No one helped. I unlocked the basement door, took a long look at the place I once tried to make a home, and started loading boxes into the trunk. Halfway through, Liam showed up. He was wearing designer sunglasses and a smug grin. "Hey, little bro," he said, leaning on the doorframe like he owned the place already. "Appreciate you keeping the room warm for me." I froze. Then I forced a smile. "Don't get too comfortable." "I left a dead mouse under the bed." His face twisted. "What?" "Nothing." I grabbed the last box and brushed past him. He didn't follow. Just called after me, "You always were the sensitive one." I didn't look back. When I slammed the trunk shut, my mum came out onto the porch. She didn't wave, just crossed her arms like I was the one abandoning them. "We hope you'll come around," she said. "Liam needs us right now. Not we hope you're okay. Not thank you for everything I did. Just Liam needs us." I stared at her for a second, memorizing the way her face didn't carry even a flicker of guilt. Then I got in my car and drove away. No hugs, no tears, no goodbyes. Only silence. I didn't speak to them for months, not out of spite, at least not at first. I just didn't have anything left to say. I was working 2 jobs, bartending at night, working IT support during the day, saving every penny I could. While most people my age were out living, I was eating instant noodles on the floor of a room that wasn't even mine. But for the first time I felt strangely free. There was no more pretending. No more waiting for a good job that never came. I was invisible to them finally, completely. And weirdly, that gave me room to breathe. But every now and then, I'd hear about Liam. Through mutual friends, old neighbors, even Facebook posts I couldn't stop myself from checking. He wasn't working. Wasn't looking. He'd trashed his ex-wife's car, posted shirtless gym selfies like he was 22 again. And still, my parents treated him like a returning war hero. "He's going through a hard time," they'd say. Funny how they never noticed the hard times I went through alone. So I made a decision. I started looking at real estate, not in another state, not even another neighborhood. I wanted to plant roots right there, in the very same street that tossed me aside. Call it petty, call it power. But I wanted them to see me build something they thought I couldn't. After 8 months of budgeting and skipping every indulgence, I found it. A small, beat-up 2-bedroom on the same block. The lawn was overgrown, the siding chipped, the inside smelled like old carpet and cigarette smoke, but I saw it and thought, this is mine. No one helped me sign the papers. No one celebrated with me. I signed anyway, and I didn't tell a single soul, not my friends, not my parents, not even Liam. Not yet. The day I got the keys, I sat on the floor of my empty living room and just listened to the silence. No TV blaring, no footsteps upstairs, no passive-aggressive comments about pulling my weight, just sunlight filtering through dusty blinds, the distant hum of traffic, and the sound of my own breathing. The house needed work. A lot of it. The kitchen sink leaked. The walls were stained with years of nicotine. The toilet made this weird gurgling noise at 3 a.m. that made me think something was trying to crawl out of it. But it was mine, all of it. The cracked tiles, the creaky floorboards, the overgrown weeds. I loved every inch. And the best part? It was just 5 houses down from my parents. They didn't know. Not yet. I never changed my address with them. I parked my car around the corner. I came and went quietly. At night, I'd stand on my porch and stare down the block at the house that used to be mine, lights glowing inside like I'd never existed there at all. And still, I kept building. I painted every wall myself, replaced the sink, stripped the cabinets, learned to patch drywall through YouTube and trial and error. It was painful, sweaty, thankless work, but it healed me in ways I didn't expect. Neighbors started to notice. "Hey, you the guy fixing up the old Miller place? Looks better already." Funny how strangers offered more encouragement than my own family ever had. And still, I told no one, because this wasn't about showing off. It was about becoming something they never believed I could be. Self-made, stable, seen. And for a while I thought maybe that was enough. Until the knock on the door changed everything. It was a Saturday afternoon. I had just finished assembling a second-hand bookshelf I'd picked up from a garage sale when I heard it. 3 soft knocks on the front door. My stomach dropped. No one ever visited, not without texting first. I walked to the door cautiously, peeking through the side window. And there she was, my mother, hair pinned back like always, lips pressed into that unreadable line. She was holding a Tupperware container, classic mom move, like she thought a tray of pasta would somehow erase everything. I opened the door, but didn't invite her in. She gave me a tight smile. "We heard you bought a house." right here on the street.
Isn't that something? I said nothing.
Just waited. She glanced past me, eyes scanning the entryway like she was searching for flaws.
It's nice, she added, voice clipped.
You've done well for yourself. Still, I said nothing. Then she got to the real reason. Liam's having a rough time again.
He's been
struggling. And your father and I were a bit stretched financially. There it was. She looked me in the eyes, and I could see the calculation happening behind them. This wasn't a family reunion. This was a setup. We were wondering, she said slowly, if maybe you could help out a little.
Just until he gets back on his feet. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed.
You kicked me out to make room for him, and now you're at my door asking me to fund his comeback tour. Her mouth tightened.
Don't be like this. He's your brother. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just said, you made your choice. She opened her mouth to speak again.
But I gently closed the door before she could, and for the first time ever,
I realized something. I wasn't the backup anymore. It started with texts. At first, they were polite.
We just want to talk. Don't let bitterness ruin family. We
raised you better than this. Then came the guilt.
Bombs, you used to be so
kind. Your brother's going through something. You'll never understand. We're
disappointed in how cold you've become. I didn't respond.
Not once. I had nothing left to give them. No explanations, no justifications.
No apologies for building the life they never believed I could. But the silence didn't stop them. A week later, I was walking out of work, phone in hand, when I saw Liam standing next to my car.
Arms folded, aviators on.
Like he was starring in some low-budget soap opera. Dude, he said, grinning. Didn't think I'd have to track you down like this. I stopped a few feet away. What do you want? He shrugged, leaned against the hood of my car like it was his. Look, man, things are tight right now.
I just need like $5,000. Nothing huge.
I'll pay you back. I actually laughed.
Out loud. You seriously think I'm giving you $5,000 after everything?
His grin faded.
You think you're better than me now?
Just because you got your little fixer-upper house?
No, I said, voice sharp. I know I am. He stepped forward, jaw clenching.
You're a damn selfish snake.
Always were. I didn't flinch. I walked right past him, unlocked my car and got in. Rolled down the window and looked him dead in the eye. You can't keep draining everyone around you and calling it love. Then I drove off. That night,
I blocked every number with my last name, phone, email, social media, gone.
One by one. And when the final block was done, I set my phone on the table, stared at the screen, and exhaled. Not in relief, in grief. Because even when you cut off a toxic family,
it still hurts. I hadn't heard anything for a while after I blocked them. No texts.
No emails, just silence. And at first,
it felt like peace until a neighbor casually said something one afternoon that made my stomach twist. Hey, did you hear about the cops at your parents' place the other night? Liam again, huh?
I froze mid-rage.
Wait, what? She nodded, lowering her voice.
I didn't want to assume, but...
Yeah, 2 officers.
Late at night.
Your mom looked wrecked the next morning. I played it cool, said I hadn't heard. But inside, the pieces started moving. That night, I couldn't sleep. I did something I hadn't done in months. I created a burner Facebook profile and searched Liam's name, and there it was. Buried in a local subreddit post, he'd been arrested for fraud. Not some minor slip-up either. He'd been embezzling money from a small business he briefly worked for after his divorce. Not only that, but this wasn't the first time. He'd done it 2 years ago in another town and gotten away with a warning because his family vouched for him. I felt sick, so that's why they kicked me out.
Not just to help him heal, but to hide him.
To shelter him from the world again, like they always had. They didn't just choose him over me, they enabled him. I thought back to that smug grin on his face, the entitled tone, the way he stood at my car like the world owed him something.
And all along they knew what he'd done, and they still showed up at my door asking for help. Not out of love, out of desperation.
because their golden boy was actually rusting, and they needed someone to carry the weight. I sat alone in my half-painted kitchen that night, staring at my phone, my heart pounding with one thought. They didn't just abandon me, they used me. My birthday came 2 weeks later. I hadn't planned anything.
No dinner, no drinks?
Just a quiet day off work. I cleaned the gutters, bought myself a decent meal, watched a movie alone. And for a while, that was enough. Until I opened Instagram, I don't know why I did it. Maybe I wanted to see if anyone remembered. A message, a tag.
Hey man, happy birthday. What I saw instead?
My entire family throwing a party, balloons, cake, a full spread of food. My aunt was there.
My cousins.
Even my childhood neighbor. And right there in the middle, holding a beer and grinning like he just won the damn lottery, was Liam. The caption read, "Celebrating family and second chances. Isha blessed, family first." I stared at the screen, my hand frozen. It wasn't just that they didn't invite me, it was the fact that they had replaced me.
Rewritten me, as if I'd never existed. As if the son they raised who paid rent, cleaned their gutters, got good grades, and quietly suffered through years of being second best,
had just vanished. They were celebrating the man who destroyed everything and pretending I never mattered. I closed the app, set the phone down on the floor, and then I cried. Not angry tears, not bitter ones, just the kind of sobbing that comes when something breaks so deeply you don't even try to hold it together anymore. That night, I printed out one of the photos, Liam blowing out candles while everyone clapped. I taped it to the inside of my closet, behind a row of jackets, not for revenge, for remembrance. Reminder of what it felt like to be erased, a reminder. To never go back. The photos stayed there, hidden behind my coats like a secret.
Scar. Every morning when I reached for my jacket, I saw it. Liam's smug smile.
My parents clapping. My empty seat at the table. It stopped hurting after a while, not because I stopped caring, but because I finally accepted the truth. I'd never been part of that family the way I thought I was. I was just a placeholder until Liam came crawling back. A few days later, the knock came again. This time, it was both of them, my mum and dad, standing on my porch like they hadn't thrown me out a year ago. My mum looked tired, my dad thinner. They clutched each other like they were the victims in all this. "Liam crashed his car," my dad started.
He's not hurt, thank God, but we're
struggling. I didn't move. Just stared. My mom jumped in. "We know things have been tense, but we're family. We need to come together.
Maybe you could help us, just a little.
Get us back on our feet." Her voice cracked, like it was supposed to pull my heartstrings, but I felt nothing, no rage.
No sadness?
Just a blank, calm silence. I took out my phone.
Scrolled to my blocked list.
Unblocked her, just long enough to show her contact again. Then right in front of them, I pressed it again. Block this contact, and watched her name vanish from my screen. Same with my dad. I looked them in the eye and said softly, this is me choosing myself. Then I shut the door. I stood in the hallway for a long time after that, hand still on the knob. My heart didn't race. My hands didn't shake. Just this strange, quiet peace I hadn't felt since I was a kid. I wasn't angry anymore. I was done. Weeks went by, and for the first time in years, my phone didn't buzz with guilt trips.
No last-minute requests.
No Liam needs you. No surprise knocks on the door. Just silence. I filled it with things that made me feel whole again. I repainted the kitchen. This warm, deep navy I'd always wanted but never been allowed to use growing up, because dark colors make a house feel sad. Turns out,
it made me feel grounded, strong. I bought bookshelves.
Started cooking real meals. Adopted a rescue dog named Milo, who barked at every car that rolled past my porch like he was guarding a kingdom. For the first time, my space felt like mine.
Not borrowed, not temporary, not earned by obedience, just mine. I hosted a few friends over one night, college buddies I hadn't seen in ages.
We laughed, played old music, even danced in the kitchen while I burned garlic bread. They told me how different I looked, lighter, more present, and I realized they were right. I didn't check my phone during dinner. I didn't sit there waiting for a text from someone who'd never come.
I was there.
In my life, fully. Sometimes I'd walk past my parents' house on my morning jogs. The lawn looked unkept, windows closed, curtains drawn. They still lived there, but it felt faded, like at a house with no stories left in it. Once I saw my mom watching me from the window. She didn't wave, neither did I, because
I wasn't a ghost haunting
their lives anymore. I had built something they never thought I could, not just her house, but a life, and I wasn't looking for their applause anymore, just peace. 6 months later, a letter showed up in my mailbox, no return address, but the handwriting was unmistakable, my mother's. I held it for a minute, debating whether to open it at all. Curiosity won. Inside were two things: a single sheet of lined paper and a folded newspaper clipping. The letter was short. Liam's in jail again.
Fraud charges.
We're trying to sell the house to cover legal fees. We hoped you'd reconsider helping. Your father isn't well.
I'm exhausted.
We don't know what to do. No apology.
No acknowledgement of what they did to me.
Just desperation dressed up as family duty. The newspaper clipping was a small column buried in the crime section. Local man arrested in repeat embezzlement case. There was Liam's mugshot. Same smug face, just a little more tired. I stared at it for a long time, not with anger,
not with pity.
Just clarity. This was never going to end. They would always expect me to be the fallback, the silent son, the emergency plan. And I realized I had a choice. I walked out back and lit a small fire in the pit I'd built from reclaimed bricks last fall, held the letter for a moment longer, then fed it to the flame. The paper curled and blackened, turning to ash. The clipping followed. I watched the fire dance, warm against the evening breeze, and felt something inside me finally settle. I didn't need to scream, or confront, or prove anything anymore. They'd made their bed. They could lie in it. I walked back inside, locked the door, and looked around my quiet, imperfect, beautiful home. I didn't just survive. I didn't just win. I broke the cycle, and I'll never be their backup again.